Hello, I'm Robert Killen, Director of the Lane Small Business Development Center, and this is a special Lane Business Update for Monday, November 2nd. And I'm not going to talk anything about politics or the election. What we're going to talk about today is the state of Oregon's Emergency Business Grant Fund. Now, we've already been through 4 different rounds of funds from the state, but there are still funds remaining from round 3. Many businesses didn't apply for these funds because the eligibility requirement was fuzzy, it was uncertain, it was hard to get through. So businesses just didn't apply. In order to get as many of you funds as I can, I'm going to walk through this application. This is actually a survey that was created to help you determine if you are eligible for these funds. So I'm going to walk through the survey so that as you watch it, if you feel at the end of this video you might be eligible, then you can go through, do it yourself, confirm that result, and then you'll get access to the actual application. Here's the crux of it. If we don't get funds allotted, if we don't get applications in for funds by Thursday of this week, funds are going back to the state. Now I want to keep as much of this money in Lane County as possible. So let's dive in. You'll see a link to this survey. It's a app.smartsheet.com link in the first comment below this video. That's how you access this form. So this is an eligibility survey for the State of Oregon COVID-19 Emergency Business Grant Fund. And the first thing you check is a simple confidentiality check, and then we dive into the meat of it. The first question is your business a for-profit or 501c3 nonprofit? Those are the only 2 eligible business types for this money. If you select no, you're going to get this message. Unfortunately, you are not eligible. That's how this form works. We keep getting question after question. If you select the wrong answer, you get this message. If you click the right answer, then you get to continue. So it's actually pretty well developed. So let's imagine, yes, you are a for-profit or 501c nonprofit. You get the next question. Is your business headquartered or have its main operations in Oregon? Presume yes on that. Next, did you have 25 or fewer employees prior to the pandemic? Now, just to check that this works, if you say no, meaning you had more, you get that message. But let's presume you had 25 or fewer. You get to continue on. Have you received any previous grants from the Business Oregon Emergency Grants or the statewide Business and Cultural Support Program? If you select yes to this, you've received other funds from the state, then you're going to get the, unfortunately, you're not qualified, not eligible questionnaire. Now, this is not asking about federal funds. It's not asking about the PPP or the EIDL. It is only asking about the state of Oregon's emergency grant funds that went out to businesses and to cultural programs earlier this year. So we'll presume no so that you can continue on. Next question. In the past 6 months, have you received loan funds from the PPP or EIDL? This is where the federal comes in, and this is where many businesses get kicked out or choose not to participate because they don't understand it. So if you say no, you just get to go on. But if you say yes, it's a little more confusing. So if you say yes, they're going to ask you a couple other questions. The first one is, how many employees did you have? And here's why. Let's say you had 0 to 5 employees. Well, this grant, the way this works is that if you have this many employees, you are going to get up to $5,000. What they want to ensure is that if you got more than that in federal funds, you don't qualify. But if you got less than that, you could get the difference between the two. So let's imagine through this grant, you qualify for $5,000 in grant money, but you received $2,000 in EIDL upfront grant. So there's still $3,000 left there. You would qualify for the difference between the two. So as long as you received less than these numbers, then I would say continue on. Presume yourself eligible. Now here's the thing. There's this odd discussion of how you determined the amounts that you're going to receive. Unfortunately, this amount, this description is for later on in the process, so you can't really know at this point. So what I would say is if you received less than $5,000, go with the higher number here. If you received less than $5,000, click yes. Okay, and that will allow you to continue. Um, and that's going to be, it's going to be different with every amount here because the grant is offering different amounts to businesses based on the number of employees they have. So again, if you have 6 to 10 employees, I would use this $10,000 number. If you received less than 10,000, select yes. Okay, so whatever the larger number is, if you received less than that larger number, click yes, and that will allow you to continue on. All right. So as you continue on, has your business been forced to shut down due to Executive Order 2012 earlier in the year, or have your sales declined by 50% or more due to COVID-19? Now, they're not very specific about what time period this should be. So again, if this is at all questionable, maybe it was just 3 months in the summer that your sales dropped off completely. Whatever it is, if you can justify a period of time throughout the summer where you had a 50% or more decline in sales, select yes. Okay? And then you get to move on. So once you get here, this is saying that according to your answers, you are eligible for these funds. Now, there were a couple things where we had to make some guesses here, using the bigger number, the 10,000 instead of the 5,000, and what exactly is the time frame here. But what I'm going to tell you is that if you're that close, you should go ahead and apply. Okay, if they can find a way that you are eligible, they will do so because the county wants to keep these funds in the county as well. So once you get to this point, you are tentatively eligible for these funds. You plug your name, contact email in here, select Lane County if you're from Lane County, hit submit, and then you will receive information on how to access the application itself. Now remember, you do have to submit the application by Thursday in order to qualify for these. After that, this is all going away. So if by going through this process you think you might be eligible for this round 3 of the state's Emergency Business Grant Fund, please go through the process yourself, validate what I just did, and if you still are eligible, apply for those funds. These are grant monies. They don't need to be paid back. So we want to get as much of this in your hands as possible. If you have any questions about this, don't hesitate to reach out to me directly. Leave a message in the comments. I'm happy to respond to conversation down there. And until next time, cheers.